What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman and Ben Rasa here for Awesemo.com, and we are back with another edition of the PGA Contenders this week for the Northern Trust. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. I'm going to let you have the floor right now because I did not have a good one last week, and you kind of got boned.
Yeah, that's putting it nicely. It was listen, I was not the only one in the world with a Henley outright ticket. That was a very popular move. Saw a lot of sharp people on it with me, sweating it out. The thing that hurt me more was Duffner. He was one of my favorite plays last week. He had a hole-in-one that missed by literally inches, and he missed his top 20 by one stroke. That was a big number. We had talked about that on this show.
Yeah,
his top 10 was huge. Henley not getting into the playoff. I'm not going to rehash all that. The thing that sucks, and we've talked about this all the time, 1 week like that is a season maker. It makes up for every outright bet of the year, depending on how picky you are. But a shot like that really could be a game changer. But you know what? The positive spin on it, I really saw that tournament well. I was really happy with my selections in the betting world. And now we get to the FedEx Cup. We get the big names back, and that means really juicy numbers if you can find a non-elite player that could find the winner's circle.
I found some juicy numbers, or at least I think on some actual elite players in some other bets, and some just general outrights that I'm really happy with. Would you like to go first or second since you had your close call last week?
I'm going to go first. I'm going to try to just take the momentum, even though it didn't work. And this is probably the easiest way to get rid of momentum is to back a guy who is just struggling. He cannot putt, but he is still, to me, a guy, and we talk about this in golf sometimes. I would back this guy at 28-1 in the outright market. Anytime, any place, any day, and it's Justin Thomas. I know he's not playing great. I know it's been a struggle. He's coming off a non-cut at the WGC where he came in 26th. He gained 6 strokes with the approach. He lost 5 strokes putting, and that has been the story all year with him. He's had putting performances in 2021 of -6, -6.5, -8.4, and -5. Now, of course, those not are in a row, but just to have multiple of those in a year is ridiculous for a player this good. He is still a world-class player. He is one of, if not the best wedge player in the world, in my opinion. He's elite there. And eventually the putts will fall. So I'm going to take a macro approach. I'm not going to get into technical analysis of the course with this bet because I think Justin Thomas at 28-1 is a good bet long-term, basically at any course.
I can never say anything about wanting to take an outright on JT. I think we're in a similar vein here. I'm going to 33-1 outright for Patrick Cantlay. Tied for 8th here in 2018, tied for 12th in 2019, and missed the cut in 2020 after absolutely abysmal putting. You need to be good off the tee here, and you need to be dialed in with your irons if you want to win. Cantlay, 14th in strokes gained off the tee, 28th in strokes gained in the approach. It's about as good of a combination as you're going to find for those two stats heading into this tournament. He's got 2 wins this year on tour, one at Zoizo, the other 2 months ago at the Memorial. Finished 23rd at FedEx with some pretty bad putting. So to be that bad putting and still get to 23rd is pretty interesting to me. I just need his putter to basically be average. He's got the exact skill set I'm looking for to thrive at Liberty National. And I get him at a line that's behind a lot of other golfers that I think that he is just straight up better than.
I have no problem with Cantlay. I do like him. I do want to just throw this out real quick. This is probably just an oversight on your part. This is a rotational, so they've only played this course in 2019. 2020 and 2018, his course history was at other courses.
The course history to me was irrelevant for what I was saying. Just simple how you do with the Northern Trust. I don't care at all about course history.
No. I think it's noisy as well. But just wanted to throw that out there for people who are using things. You know, the Northern Trust. It does jump around a little bit. I backed Cantlay so many times this year too. He's on the list. Same thing. Like you give North 30, I'm never going to push back on that. I'm going down to the top 10 market here, as I usually do for my second bet. Certainly take a drop in talent, but he's still a very, very good player, and it's Joaquin Niemann. 6-1 to find that first page of the leaderboard, and that's a number I can get behind. Different type of player than JT, of course, in a lot of facets. He's putting really well, actually beautifully in 2021. He's been positive in 7 of 8. It's a guy that's had some close calls here. He was second at the Rocket Mortgage, a couple runner-ups early in the year. And when you just look at him, he's shown, places like Heritage, some of these more technical tracks, it doesn't bother him. And I kind of like that because Liberty National is not exactly overpower it. You need to make some putts. You certainly need to hit some greens because you don't want to be scrambling. And that is the big concern. If Niemann is missing a lot of greens, his around the green game is his weak link. But I kind of like that for bets like this, because if he's missing a ton of greens, he's not going to come in the first page of the leaderboard, and I don't really care then. It's all the same. So this is someone that can get crazy hot with the irons. He can convert those putts. Elite score, prefer him on bent, prefer 6-1. Checks out, worth a shot in the mid-range with Joaquin Niemann.
I'm really curious to see where you stand on my next guy, because this line just didn't make a ton of sense to me. I'm not sure that I've taken him at all this year. Top 10 market plus 410, Webb Simpson.
No, you've taken him.
That guy.
Probably.
Okay. 2021 has probably been Webb's best year off the tee from a strokes gain perspective. And it seems like his irons have maybe taken like a slight step back. He's still 56th in strokes gained in the approach, but we're used to seeing him in the top 10 or even in the top 5. He's got 6 top 10s this year, including this past week at Wyndham, finished top 7 while losing strokes putting and around the green. That's really difficult to do, to dump strokes in 2 different facets of the game and still get to T7. He had his biggest tournament of the year with the irons, gaining more than 2 strokes around. I really like that momentum that he's carrying in here. And make sure you're shopping around for this bad boy, because I saw it at plus 275. I saw it at plus 310. Plus 410 exists. If you can get that number, grab it as fast as you can. I just don't see a scenario where that's a bad number for someone of his ilk.
I don't know what to do with Webb, because Wyndham is almost a separate tournament altogether with him. His kid is, I'm not going to go down on that. He just destroys that place. But I can objectively say, actually got a raw deal. He had a triple and a double on the card, and he couldn't putt. Webb should have won last week, in all honesty, even though I was not on him at all. He seems healthy. That's step one. People were worried about where he was really at. He wasn't playing great. I wish this was Bermuda for him. I do think that that's more where he thrives. But if you're going to find an outlier like that, I still think you're definitely creating value. So I'm kind of neutral on Webb. I don't hate the play, but that's mostly because you found a good number. If it wasn't, I don't think I would go there, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, the number was what stood out to me. I couldn't believe that it existed. And for a second, I thought it was just a misprint, just seeing that like the 275 and 310 was out there. When I found 410 was actually there, I was like, that'll work.
Everybody's a play at a certain number. We talk about that all the time. Like, I don't like a lot of guys, but I would certainly bet him at the right number. And that's where I see with Webb. My last guy, top 20 market, talented player. And again, 6-1, same as Niemann. But of course, I get an extra 10 spots to cash this. Maverick McNeely. It's a guy, a lot of pedigree. Hasn't put it all together, but he's starting to show why people were excited about this. He's had a pretty decent 2021. He was runner-up to AT&T Pro-Am, top 5 at Heritage, which I've already mentioned for Niemann as well. I kind of like that comp. 5 straight cuts, 2 straight top 20s. Elite putter. Can get crazy hot. I think it's a good course for him. I know he's a California guy, but I still think this is the type of setup on bent, technical layout, and he's not overmatched to the point where he can't compete against the best players in the world. Outright, maybe that's a little aggressive. Top 10, I don't hate that, but top 20 is where I want to be living with Maverick. He's been very, very consistent. If he can just do what he's been doing ball striking wise, gain off the tee, be solid with the irons, he will convert plenty. I don't worry about any of that. And he's shown this year, he's kind of taken that next step. So I think Maverick's a name a lot of people think is going to be in the winner's circle at some point. And I expect him to play pretty well this week at 6-1. Maybe my favorite bet of the 3, to be honest.
I think that's the first Maverick McNeely we've had in this
That's probably
show. That's for
true.
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
My final guy, top 20 market, plus 410. So the same sort of line as Webb, but now we're getting into the top 20. That would be Kevin Streelman. Not great history here, regardless of which course it is. As anytime they slap Northern Trust on the name of the tournament, he doesn't appear to play well. It doesn't matter where he's showing up. But he is unquestionably having the best year of his career this year. Finished tied for 7th last week at Wyndham. T19 at the Open Championship back in July. Finished top 20 in his last 6 non-missed cuts. He's 40th in strokes gained off the tee, 29th in strokes gained in the approach. So his skill set fits this course. And he's no longer the negative putter that we saw from 2015 to 2019, where it was like a legitimate problem. He's actually positive so far this year. And this is another spot where I saw an outlier line. I was seeing a lot of plus 300 in this spot. I'm getting it at plus 410. sometimes it's just all about grabbing the value. Now, I like the skill set fit, but I'm also getting what I deem to be really good numbers as well. These three bets, these three guys that I've picked so far, this is my favorite betting card of the year. This is my favorite card that we've had ever on the PGA Contenders.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You hear this? If you were watching this video, you are putting multiple strips of bacon. I'm crossing shows over. It doesn't matter. If you don't watch the breakfast menu, you should be doing that, and then you'd understand that reference. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think this is the end all be all, but with someone like Kevin Streelman, I think you want to look to TPC River Highlands, which is the Travelers Championship. He's won that event. He's coming second in that event. I see some of that in Liberty National. You know, that's in Connecticut. This is up in this area as well. Same type of technical layout. So I get why you'd be drawn to a guy like Streelman. He does it with the irons. He has to convert with the putter. And I see that kind of player being able to thrive here. So I'm not going to push back on that. I'm going to piggyback what you said. As a whole, our 6 bets, this is one of my favorite cards of the year too. I like what you did. I also like what I did though. And we're going to try to cash a couple to get hot right out of the gate in the FedEx Cup.
Let's make that money. 3 up, 3 down. Ben, where are we going next week?
So I keep forgetting the names. Either the BMW. It's the next stage of the FedEx Cup. That's where we're at. We're in playoff season. I always forget. What do you have it in front of you? What is it? The
BMW Championship.
That's what I said. I said that.
I mean, I didn't tell you were wrong.
I'm telling myself that I was right. How about that?
That's fair.
Good. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be fun. Obviously, stay tuned. Plenty of DFS content. Me and the whole golf team, we have you guys covered live before lock Wednesday night, and certainly keep an eye out for all the betting content here on Awesemo on the Awesemo Odds channel. Subscribe, notification bell. You guys know the drill. Make sure to do that because everything is coming fast and furious as football comes around.
And as Ben mentioned before, make sure you're watching the breakfast menu. We've got this PGA Contenders that just exists on its own every single Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when this thing gets posted. But every single day, Monday through Friday, Ben and I are putting out our best bets for the day. Sometimes it's baseball, sometimes it's NFL futures, Olympics, NBA. We're dipping our toe in a lot of different water. You should be watching that show, so make sure you check it out. That's all I've got. Like button, subscribe to the channel, notification bell. We'll be back next week for the BMW. This is PGA Contenders. Good luck this weekend, everybody.